Buongiorno. Mark my words, Mel. Early by Christmas.
Even now, less than a score of years after the World War,
hostilities exist. There is no blinking at the fact.
we shall never surrender!
This is the Militaria Podcast, brought to you by your friends at Queen City Militaria, Wehrmacht Militaria, and SMG War Relics.
Welcome to the Militaria Podcast. My name is Joshua Doda. I run Queen City Militaria, and I'm joined by my friend Dante Gambino of SMG War Relics.
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
And Billy Kramer of WehrmachtMilitaria.com.
Good evening, everybody. I apologize. I'm a little sick and I sound a little nasally, but that's just the way cookie crumbled this week.
Well, hey, man, we're back from the SOS. We laughed, we cried, we got sick, we ate oysters. How have you guys been recovering? We were just talking about that a little bit, so let's get into it.
Well, yeah, I got a big operation when I get home because I got to unpack all kinds of shit. I'm feeling good. Well, that's not true. That's not entirely true. My viewers know that I got sick right probably around my birthday in January for 3 weeks with the flu, and that was fucking horrible. So I thought I was in the clear for the SOS, and I was. I had a great SOS. I was in good shape. Then I came home, and yeah, I was just pissing out of my ass for a couple days, and I don't know why.
Oh my God!
No fever, nothing else, and just that.
Oh my God!
And it was gross and it was disgusting, and I'm gonna tell you guys all about it. And yeah, so that's that. But yeah, I'm getting back to normal. Everything is good on my end. So looking forward to getting back into the swing of things, getting normalized again.
Dude, the SOS diet is definitely it's kind of tough. It's tough on the body.
Yeah, it's just a lot of carbs and meats, and there's probably no vegetables to be had.
There's barely even water. Bill, you said you're feeling sick, bud. You got the SOS bug. What's going on?
No, see, it wasn't that. All right, so I got a new laptop, and I've had it since January, and I haven't had downtime where I can switch over and fire this bad boy up and have it go. So I wanted my current laptop cloned onto this new one, right? So I go to the laptop place, the computer repair place, before I leave, and I drop it off Wednesday morning. And there's a cute girl behind the counter, and she just coughs right in my face. I'm like, what the fuck? And she's like, oh, wrong tube. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then 2 minutes later, she's blowing her nose and hacking shit up. And it's like, that's not actually cool. And I mean, dude, it was already too late. I'm telling you, that girl got me sick. And I every other day at the SOS, it was on, it was off. It was on, it was off. Am I talking too much? Is that why my throat hurts? I didn't know what to do. And I look back and again, that girl coughed directly in my face when I gave her that laptop. And oh, by the way, the new laptop's doing pretty good.
Nice, dude. So that's kind of like your COVID-19 bat soup incident.
Yeah, it's either who knows, it might be diphtheria. At this point, I don't know, but excuse me, I'm sick and it's not very fun. And I have a flu shot, so I don't have that to worry about, but I don't know what who knows where that little hussy's been. That's all I gotta say. Okay.
Dude, you can't trust anybody these days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Josh, tell me about what's going on with you right now.
Dude, you know what? I have this same experience every single time I get back from the show. And it's that no matter how many days have passed, I feel like I should still be given special treatment for the experience of the show, where people are like, hey, I'm looking for this order, or hey, you got to pay your power bill. And I'm like, okay, I just got home from the show, dude. They're look, the show was really draining. That we had plenty of beer. That was definitely a thing. There was not a lot of water. Even on days where there was water, I was like, we're at such a deficit. I'm just I'm like SpongeBob in that scene where he's all dried out. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put the picture of that right here. And, so yeah, it's just been a lot of catch up. I got back and had the weekend off, and I was just I'm not doing jack shit all weekend. And then I feel like I need 1,000 weekends to recover. But aside from that, dude, I got back and I made a big change. My top lip really cold right now. Got rid of the mustache after the show.
I just noticed tradition. I just figured that out. Holy cow.
People at work and people in my life are like, oh, you got rid of the mustache. And I was like, the show's over. I have no reason to live like this anymore. And hey, look, anybody that can rep a giant mustache 365, I respect you. But to me, sometimes I'm like, all right, this is kind of like a Halloween costume that I have to wear every single day. So I was like, you know what? Back to normal life. We're starting fresh. We'll be lean with the weight of the mustache lost
Can,
to
can I
move forward
interject
after
real
the
quick?
show.
Can we
Yeah.
talk about this? Because I grow this longer, and this annoys the piss out of me. I hate a long mustache. I mean, for you to do that, I commend you. Like you said, you respect people who can rock that. I hate it.
Dude, it's so hard to live a normal life with a large mustache. I'll tell you what, like I shaved it off and I kissed my girlfriend and I was like, that's what that's supposed to be like.
Mhm.
Because dude, for the
Really
last
not
6 months, since we moved back, which was in August, I haven't shaved the mustache at all. And so in that amount of time, it's like just kept encroaching down my face and to the point where like even when I give Carmen a kiss, you know what I'm saying? You give a little smooch, I'm like mostly kissing mustache hair.
Yeah.
It's
Natural.
just
fucking
not it's not
gross,
quite as enjoyable. Hey man, that's the reality of it. You grow a big mustache, you'll see.
Holy shit. Well, I have to say, as far as the show goes and the amount of alcohol consumed, I thought we were pretty good. I think our alcohol to fun ratio was perfect this show. My hangovers were not bad at all in the morning. I was able to get up, have some water, and fucking get to the show and get going.
I bring Aquafinas with me all the time. I mean, maybe Josh is not staying hydrated, but I'm an Aquafina kind of guy. I hydrate during the day, buddy.
Dude, I feel like this was definitely one of the more fun shows for our little military family. It probably like goes in the books as one of the most fun shows that we've ever had. I don't think there's any disagreement there, but I will say like there were some nights where we went out when we went to that Irish bar and Billy was like, "We got to do what was
lunch
it? What kind of shot?
boxes. Yeah, lunch
Lunchbox
boxes,
shots."
buddy.
I'm sitting there like, I gotta drive home, and then he gives us the shot, and I take a sip of it, and I'm like, this shit's really friggin' good, dude. And like, ooh, the self-control, the test of self-control, because I'm watching you guys, you know, heckle the fucking acoustic guitar guy in the corner, and I'm like, I want to have that kind of fun.
I was in your guys' defense, I was the only one that was heckling him because I didn't like him. No, I thought he was a good guy. I just,
He's a good guy.
I let my daughter date him. I just didn't like the music he played.
Exactly. I didn't like the music choice, but that's fine. I mean, that's my cross to bear, whatever.
Well, if you guys have, if you viewers or if you listeners have seen the vlog, then you've seen a little cut that shows the bar and all that. And we ended up in kind of a weird situation where he sang happy birthday to somebody else. It was my birthday that day. And then we kind of assumed he was singing it to, I don't know. The first time I heard happy birthday, I was like, oh, this must just be to me, dude. The stars aligned and this guy just knew it was my fucking birthday. And then afterwards, he noticed that we were like clapping and shit. And he was like, oh, there's another birthday. So then he sang it to me. And then after he sang it to me, he sang it to someone else. It was like everybody's birthday in the bar at the same time. It was a very strange night.
How old are you, Josh?
Dude, I just turned 34.
Yeah, you read it at a 35-year-old level too. That's impressive.
I really appreciate that,
good.
Bill. I've been practicing. I don't want to fall behind. I don't want to be reading like a 26-year-old.
You're a well-read man. I mean, any of our casual listeners that aren't watching and just listening may assume that you're in your 40s or possibly even 50s.
I really hope people aren't assuming that I'm in my 50s, bro.
Why?
Every
You got
time
something
we
to say? Well, you know that most of our viewers and listeners are in their 50s, 60s, and beyond.
Hey, look,
hey, 100%. That is
no hate on the gray-haired viewer.
So you gotta,
I respect it.
You gotta embrace them.
I aspire to be that way.
Is there
yes, we've looked at the analytics on my YouTube channel and this YouTube channel.
And I just don't pay attention.
And 50 to 70 is the big group.
We have a lot of elder statesmen that watch the show.
Wise graybeards.
Dude, there's no ageism here. I'm not saying at all that like I hate fucking, I don't want you to think I'm old. But at the same time, if you ask any of our older viewers, I guarantee you that they would be like, when I was 30, I didn't want people to think I was 50.
Maybe. Yeah, probably.
So back to the SOS, we're talking about, the alcohol we consumed, and we cleaned out at least like half of the oyster supply of Louisville. But like, let's get into more of the dealer perspective. How did you guys do at the show? How did you enjoy it? What was your opinion on the show overall? Things you liked, things you didn't like. Let's start with you, Dante.
So gosh, how many shows have we done now with the SOS boys? Are we up to like 8 now or something? I'm just trying to think.
The first you and I kind of was like 16 or 17, maybe.
I'm just trying to think how it changed over the years from our perspective, because we're relatively newer dealers. We're kind of like the new breed, if you will. So how has it changed in our short tenure going to the SOS, and I've noticed it's just the traffic really has picked up. The excitement and the enthusiasm seems to be better every show over the last couple of years, and this show was really, I thought it couldn't get better than last year, and now this year I was like, well, this is best. This is the best I've ever seen it. I don't know how it could top, what's going to happen next year, but it was awesome. I mean, the foot traffic was fantastic. There was very little idle time for me, and you guys all know that I like to stay behind the tables, and I like to work the sale. I like to engage with the customers. And every dealer is different on how what their goal is at the show, right? My goal is to really market the brand, sell product behind the table, shake hands, kiss babies. That's what I really like to do. I enjoy that. And it was busy nonstop. I had 2 table helpers there all the time. I let them go out once in a while. Ran and Will Docus, like a dog. You can go out and take a shit now. I would let them go out and do their thing. And when it got busy, I had to call them back and say, yo, the tables are full. And on a slow show, they can be out, like at the max, they were out like for hours before I would call them back. At the SOS, they'd go out for a couple minutes. I'm like, yo, I need you back. The tables are full. And it was I was constantly doing that. And that's a great place to be from a dealer perspective. The shows go faster. You're making more money. You're just doing everything that you love to do all the time. You're not sitting down there looking at a freaking bowling alley with nobody in the aisles. And we've been there at certain shows.
There have been years like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the Max show definitely has suffered, I think, more from a loss in foot traffic than the SOS. But I was very concerned, and I'm sure you guys felt the same way, that this year, the foot traffic would be impacted by the floods. Because obviously when the show was happening, there was like a winter storm warning for the entire state of Kentucky and like deadly floods and all this stuff. I mean, crazy winter storms across the South. Even when I was flying in, like it was snowing. And this is the first year at the SOS that we've had snow. So, I mean, it's pretty impressive that we got as many people out as we did, because it does seem like I'd be surprised if this wasn't the biggest show in the last couple years.
Oh, totally. And it was cold. So I was like, shit, do people go out in the cold to buy Nazi shit? Like,
I don't ever remember seeing
a thing?
No, ever.
No.
Yeah, no. There have been brisk shows for sure where it's like, I need a jacket, but the snow, absolutely not.
No, but it was bitter cold. I mean, it was like 11 degrees at night. It was not. So in previous shows, we've had the ability to walk around any of the towns and streets, and you could do stuff at night because you're like, it might be cold, but a jacket and you're good. It was so bitter that you didn't want to walk around. You're like, fuck, let's find a place and go. I don't give a shit. That place, let's go. You're just getting indoors because it was cold.
Yeah, quick aside about that, Bill, you missed this, but when we went out with Dante and you went to a different dinner that night and we all hooked up after the fact, Dante's like, oh, let's walk up and down this street and find like a cool place to dip into. And I had the mustache, it was in the last episode. I'm sure people have seen it. By the time we walked down to the end of the street, my mustache was frozen solid. And Dante turns around and he goes, all right, nothing really here. Let's just walk back the other direction. And so then we walk back, we meander our way up an escalator. We come back down the stairs on the opposite side. We're fucking walking all down back to the street where we first started and going to the same restaurant we went into last year. I was freezing my ass off, dude.
But it was a good restaurant. Come on. I mean, it's a chain, but for bar food and stuff, it's good. It's a good time. What is
gastropub.
What the fuck was it called? Something in Beers, something Gordon and Bierce, G&B.
How was your show, Bill? How did you feel like the show went?
Oh my God. Well, so, Dante's behind the tables kissing babies. I like to kiss 4 babies. I'm out there meeting the babies. I'm out there finding them, like, oh, there's a baby. I need to go kiss that one.
Hunting them down.
Yeah, just, so I had my sanitizer in one hand because I was getting sick and I didn't want to do that to people. And I'm shaking a lot of hands, kissing a lot of babies, foreheading, sanitizing their foreheads.
Foreheading?
I'm out here. I'm screwing a baby's head on.
Yeah, he's a good baby.
I'm foreheading baby.
Anyway,
oh, it's so weird.
When I got done foreheading all the babies on the floor, it was a great show. I mean, I don't like being being behind the table, I like to go out and hunt. You know, that's my Serengeti, so to say. And I found insane shit at the show for myself. It's very rare that I find keepers that are like, oh man, I need that. You know, my bucket list, I have actually thought it out, and it's actually relatively small. There might be, I don't know, a dozen items I truly want for my collection. Other than that, I'm pretty happy and satisfied, and I think I have some of the best stuff in the world. With that being said, you know, there were things where, you know, I'm looking just in a normal belt buckle case, and there's like HJ buckles and stupid shit that I have 40 of in stock, and I found a keeper buckle. And the show was like that for me. So it was outstanding. Sales were good. Buying and selling were good. And again, it was a great show. And I don't know, like we were talking, I don't know that there's been one that's been better than this.
Yeah, take it from me because I was behind Billy's table. He is very rarely there. He's always out. I'll be like getting people coming up to me saying, "Hey, I've been a customer of yours for a long time," and they think I'm Billy, even though the table helper badge is on. It says table helper, says my name, and they're like, "Oh, Billy Kramer, yeah, I go check your website all the time," and I'm like, "Well, I'll pass it on to the boss."
He's not floorheading babies.
Well, can I interject there? Because you bring up a good point that I don't want to miss this time. That you can't think that the people with the badges are the people that they really are at this show, because people are trading badges and, oh, I got an extra table helper badge, and you give it to Joe Blow or whatever as a favor, and you call that person, you know, hey Jim, and he looks at you, he's like, my name's not Jim. I'm like, that's what your fucking badge says, bro. He's like, oh, I got this
insider
badge
info,
from
dude.
Whatever. Yeah, man, but it's a thing. It's a thing, and it annoys the shit out of me.
I have a stack of IDs from past shows that are not in my name, but they're like my little memento of the show that are just like sitting in the corner of the room right now, where I was like somebody's girlfriend or like somebody's wife or something. So I was Tina one year. I was Tina Gambino. I have a pass sitting over there for the Max show.
Yep.
Back in Monroeville, dude, back in the old days. So yeah, always be suspicious of that name tag. But you know, hey, if you did stop by Billy's table, and obviously if you stopped by Dante's table, I don't want to talk for him. He's right there. He could say whatever he wants. Maybe he didn't want you there. I think he did personally. Thanks for all your kind words. Like, there's a lot of people that came by and said, hey, you know, I check Wehrmacht Militaria all the time. I check it every day. And I'm like, well, that's a good strategy, because Billy is just like there's never an end to the updates. And it's I don't know if you guys know Billy's motto on social media, but it's, here's your chance. And there's a lot of chances on a lot of stuff, and you got to watch
Jeff Clark
every day.
Even said how much he hated that, and I'm like, I'm sorry, man, it's staying. You know, sorry.
Dude, you know what? It's true. It's their chance.
Yeah,
it is your
one chance.
man.
It's gonna sell. If you don't buy it, it's probably gonna sell.
So I got some pictures here from both of you guys, and then I have a little special thing that I put together that we can get in on to round us off at the end of the show. But I got some stuff from you, Dante. You want to go through some pictures that you sent me?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's do it.
All righty. Let me get this going.
Man.
That's like the LL Cool J song.
Oh, I did want to, while we're bringing up the pictures, I did want to say that I did bring the pink riding jacket just to show off. It's not for sale, but I brought it because there's been a lot of talk about it on this podcast, on my YouTube channel, on the WAF. There's just a lot of interest in it. And
Hannah looked beautiful in it when she put it on. It fit her perfect.
Oh, it really did. Funny story. We took a picture of Jen Brady with the tunic on, and then she was getting responses back from people that didn't know about it. Like, oh, can you pick me up one of those pink tunics? Like, it looks great. Like, it's like,
dude, it's a nice looking tunic. It's in this picture here.
Yeah. So there it is right there. But I had multiple people come up to it and be like, oh man, what a shame. Man, what a shame they did this to this jacket, thinking that it was just a white tunic that someone had dyed.
It's like a prank, dude.
Yeah, so they all were like, man, it's an original tunic, but it's been dyed. It's just horrendous that someone would do this to a perfectly good jacket. So then I'd have to go into the spiel. And my voice was hoarse at the end of every single day just from talking. And I probably talk 2 hours a day about that tunic to different people and passersby and other people that had come to the show and knew it was here and they wanted to take a look at it too.
You should have had an instructional or informational, video on it. Just like,
I should have just had a fucking a tablet there and just play
Guys,
an
we did a
instructional video.
podcast episode about it. You
Or
could have been like,
that
hey,
too, yeah.
watch
Not-
the YouTube
Not to
video.
the people in the show, though. I mean, people in the show needed to know this.
I'd be like, hey, open up your phone, dude, and let me subscribe to this YouTube channel for you, and you can research this on your own time.
Oh god damn it. So yeah, so here's the layout for the show for me. And I upgraded to 5 tables this year. I was able to pick up an extra table, which is actually just the right amount of space for me. I think we'll stay with the 5 table setup. It gives me an end cap and 2 nice tables on the sides. I have plenty of room for everything. There's Rand in the background doing his thing. And
he's wheeling and dealing back there.
he's a freaking beast of a seller. He is a selling machine. And on top of that, he's good with the visuals. So anytime we'd have, because we were moving product, there's often times where we're like, oh shit, there's a giant hole in that showcase. And I'd be like, Rand, find something to put there. And he would pick something. He would always pick something great out of one of the books of paper or an extra badge that was under the table. And next thing you know, that thing is sold. So he has a great eye for that kind of stuff. But
Big
yeah,
shout
there's
out to Rand.
there's the table layout, kind of back a row you. Go ahead, Billiam.
Well, is this early like setup because the tables to the right are not covered? I mean, this has to be like fairly early into the show.
This is early on. I probably maybe was it on Wednesday? It was either early on Thursday or Wednesday at night at the end, which I'll bring. God, this really pisses me off because I want to talk about it because I talked about it a little bit on my show, but Wednesday is dealer setup day. You're not really supposed to be selling, right? But people are doing business anyway. But
Dude, I walked in. Can I interject real quick?
Go ahead.
I walked in on Wednesday to help Billy unload the stuff from the car and bring it over to the table. And like walking through the door, I expected it to be basically a ghost town. And instead it was like, it looked like the show had already fully started. Like people were just standing there with stacks of cash being like, oh yeah, I'll take this. And I'm like, how is it even possible that like this is supposed to be passed off as like no sales, just set up?
It's not possible, but I guess they have the rule just so that if they need to enforce it, they can for whatever reason. But it's like, from my point of view, I just drove 12 hours, bro. So I drove 12 hours, didn't go to the hotel. I got to get there. I got to set up. I got to get it ready for the next day. I've got a ton of shit to get out, showcases to build. I got to get the power, electrical hooked up. I got to tell the guys how I want everything set up this year. I got shit to do. I don't really have time to sell. And it's not like I'm cutting off a good customer, right? Or a nice guy that's just coming by and trying to be chill. Nice glasses, right. Billy. Nice look.
Thanks. I just had Aviator sitting next to me.
We'll call you the Maverick. Call you Maverick.
He is a Maverick. So yeah, you're not being rude to people.
No, you're not being rude to people. Have some respect. And it's usually like the Russians who come up and are like, oh, you gotta give me this, give me. And you're like, yeah, go get fucked. So like, I don't put daggers out.
Get fucked. Get fucked.
Go get fucked. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I don't put out daggers early anymore because it's always a fucking rat race with these fucking dealers who come up and they're trying to get something for nothing. And they're trying to, oh, you didn't price this right or whatever they're trying to do. I don't have time to deal with it. My guys have jobs to do. It is disrespectful. I'm trying to get this shit set up. You see there's totes everywhere and it's a mess. Leave me alone. Come back tomorrow morning. I don't give a fuck about your needs. I really don't. I hate to be so brash, but that's just the way it is. And emails comes up and can you pull up that Yugoslavian award, please?
Yes, 1 second.
Pull that fucking thing up. So we finally get that case set up, and that end showcase takes the longest for us to get set up. We get set up and it's kind of like time to go now. So we're starting to like stack everything up, get everything out of there. And emails comes up and they're like looking at this freaking Yugoslavian medal, and it's a rare medal. And of course they've got their grubby old eyeballs on it and they're trying to, finger it up. And there's a couple other medals in this grouping. And I give them the spiel about what I'm asking for it. And you could buy it in the grouping. And you could save some money if you buy the whole grouping and yada, yada, yada. And they're like, no consideration for time. We're trying to get the hell out of there. And they're like, oh, well, this, that, and the other thing. Let me call over this guy. He wants a lot of money for it. And they're going back and forth. And I'm like, listen, guys, thank you. Let's look at it tomorrow. You can come back tomorrow morning. Oh, VR emails. And they had this this French Canadian accent or some shit. VR emails and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, I know who the fuck you guys are. You're here every fucking year. You think I don't know who you guys are? And I'm not going to freaking hold up the whole goddamn operation so you guys can jerk me off on this fucking medal. So it just pissed me off. I just wanted to say
Dude,
that.
You're on fire today.
I'm on fire.
E-metals has some clout. Like I understand them being like, hey, come on, like this is what we do. We're into like this weird, like oddball shit. They definitely carry everything. But yeah, I don't know.
But at the same time, I know it's a good metal. I know it's a great metal. It's super rare. And you know what? It sold and it didn't sell the e-metals. So too fucking bad.
What did you
very
get?
cool.
$6,000.
Okay. Beautiful.
Woo! It was very cool to see it in person. I remember when you first got the lead on these and we had to be like, yo, what the fuck is a Yugoslavian, order of like whatever, and we're like trying to look it up on the Western market, being like, nobody's ever sold one, or like at least not in like the last 15 years.
There's no comp sales on something like this. So how do you know what it's worth? So of course, who was the guy who got the better deal on or got the deal on it was a Serbian guy, because they know what it should sell for and what it's really worth, especially in the European market. So
well, I'm glad you got it sold out here, buddy. Now, we skipped one I saw in the folder, so why don't you tell me what's going on here?
What's going on?
Oh, man, I didn't have it. There we go.
Oh, loaded. So this is a funny story, just because this is a Luftwaffe table metal for, what is it called? Weather forecasting, I believe it's for. And it's a rare table metal, and it's priced over $1,000 for a table metal like this with the case. Nice, big, huge metal, too. So I had one of these last year and it sold. And I was like, man, that was a rare table metal. It was great. It's great to get it in. I'll never see another one again. And then wouldn't you know, I get a phone call from somebody that says, oh, I heard you had one of these before and you know what they are. I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Do you want to buy this one? Absolutely. I'm like, so something I thought I would never see again. I got another one in about a year's time. And guess who bought the second one? The same fucking guy that bought the first one. He comes around and he goes, you got another one? He goes, well, I want that one too. I'm like, all right. He goes, can you give me the same deal you gave me last year? I was like, yes, $1,000. Have at it, buddy. It's all yours.
Is he a meteorologist? Like, what does he do?
No, he liked this one better because the eagle on the case was a little nicer. Okay. So I was like, okay, yeah, sure, absolutely. Happy to sell it to you. I mean, I would have sold it to someone else too, but it was just funny that the same guy got the same rare award. So he's got two of these rare awards just kind of chilling.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it before.
And ask for every seat, dude. Are you the avid collector of weather and like meteorology militaria? Because guess what? Like, there's a medal for you. There's a couple of them.
This is the guy. Yeah. So
all right, cool, man. So let's see. Let's move on. What do we got here?
So this is so sometimes what I'll do is I'll bring a nice kind of show piece that's got I don't really want to sell it price tag on it. So this is an EPAC artificial Damascus SS line head sword. That's a lot. That's a tongue twister there.
Yeah, seriously.
But it's got the original pack control tag, which Gottlieb has been trying to get for me for years, like literally years. Every time I bring it, he's like, you sell me just a control tag? And I'm like, nope, get lost, Craig. And then he'll come back and he'll try to get it again. And every year he tries. And
the Pawn Stars gravitas isn't going to sway your opinion on this one?
No. Sorry, Craig. So Weitza comes by, and Weitza always eyeballs it too. And this time,
Weitzer mentioned
the Weitzer, yeah. And this time, Helmet, he pulled the trigger on it. And I could tell he was super ready to buy because he came by early in the show when he still got fat stacks. You know what I'm saying? And
that's why they call him Fat Stacks Weitzer.
Fat Stacks Weitzer.
Everybody knows that's what his nickname is.
And you know when he's ready to buy, because he'll come by first, he'll look at the things he wants when he's ready to buy from you, or when he's just eyeballing things. When he's ready to pull the trigger on stuff, he'll bring a guy or two of his buddies and a freaking suitcase full of cash. And you're like,
oh my God,
he's ready to go. Let's go. So yeah, man, he laid it all. I was really sad to see this go, though. This is actually a family heirloom for me. This is one of my father's personal swords that's in the back of Whitman's SS book. And it is an absolute knockout of a sword. I mean, it is a full mint condition. The picture here doesn't do it justice. It is a beautifully rainbow toned silver hilts all the way around in mint condition with a mint condition artificial Damascus blade, not a spot of rust on it, not an imperfection on the thing. And somebody in Germany is gonna wind up with it, I guess, at some point.
I wonder what he puts on it. What did you sell it for? 20 or 25, something like that?
20, and I think he'll ask at least 30 for it.
Dude, I can picture Weitzer right now walking up to the table with his entourage and his cash, and his eyes are just glowing red, laser focused on that sword.
Well,
That's
we've seen.
nuts.
I mean, Billy, we've seen. And we like Helmet. We're nothing.
Let
Bad
him
to
look-
say
let him
about
Oh,
look
of course,
nice
of
enough.
course.
And
Good people, good
but
folk.
we like. He's got. I tell this all the time. He's got a great sense of humor. But Billy and I have both been there when he's ready to buy it, and it's just a funny thing with him. So that's all I
All right,
got.
buddy.
Any more pictures there, bro?
We do. We have a couple more, I think.
Oh, so this again, I don't go there to buy. So this is just these are a couple of things that came to the table. The books on the right didn't come to the table. I actually went out to go visit Billy because I like to say hi at least once a show. And he's never there. So I'm really just talking to you, Josh. And
It's always nice to see you, pal. Thanks for visiting the table.
pretty much, yeah. So I go out, and on my way up that last aisle there, I passed this guy selling these Royal Bavarian Military Merit Order book sets. And I had seen these on Facebook for sale because they're just released. And I don't know about you guys, but I love good reference material. I always resort back to it because I have a memory of a goldfish. So I like to go to the books. And every time I get an offer for one of these merit medals, these Bavarian medals, there's like 500 different variants. And I don't know, it's got the crown, it doesn't have the crown, it's got this, it doesn't have this. When was it made? What's the time span? Because it covers a broader range of years. So you never know whether you're coming or going with these. And I feel like I don't get a chance to be competitive with my offers when these come around. So I picked this up so that hopefully it'll help me out with that. And I can just add to my research library collection. So I was happy to get that. And then
Is the Flyers dagger a Hellbig real quick? It looks like one.
It is. It
Yeah,
is.
all right. It looks like one.
It's a
Wow.
Hellbig with a crackle finish scabbard.
Yeah.
So I love picking those up because they don't go bad. The leather doesn't go bad because there is no leather on it. So those crackle finish scabbards are fantastic. And Hellbigs, if you know anything about Hellbig, on all of their knives, they're very light etch, and it's very difficult to find one with an etch you can read. And this one came by, and the guy wanted crazy prices on the other stuff that he had. So when I saw this, I was like, he's going to kill me on this. But then I offered him a certain amount because I was like, well, this is really nice. This is minty. And I think I can get a premium for it. And he took my first offer. I was happy to get that knife. So that I got some Dachau stuff. I got, oh, dude, that freaking pennant in the back is a nice car pennant with a aluminum frame and RZM mark frame. And that came right to the table. I got that for a song. And then
Nice,
just
dude.
some other random stuff, nothing too crazy. But I tell customers because okay, Billy, let's get into it. Now's the time. I don't go out there looking for things for customers. People are always like, oh, hey, when you go to the show, can you find me whatever type that type with a blah, blah, blah and a rainbow hinge? And I'm like, what are you fucking crazy, dude? I don't have time to do any of that. I'm going there for other things. I cannot entertain a little list of customers with a list of want to buys. I can't remember it. I'm not writing it down. And what do you think? I'm running around with my cell phone going, oh, is that a Tiger Army dagger with an early scabbard? Oh, Joe Blow from Minnesota wants one of those. Let me buy it and then try to sell it to him. And then he's going to tell me, oh, I don't want to pay that. So then I'm stuck with an overpriced dagger. Like, no, man, I'm sorry. I can't do that. I got other shit to do. I'm going there to sell and buy on margin my normal gig. So,
Bill, I see you nodding over there, and I am actually surprised to see you agreeing because I have always thought, based on the service that you provide to customers, that you are actually a guy who would be like, what are you looking for? I will go find it for you. So I want to hear you weigh in.
I don't know if you know me. I may say things like that, but they're not. So, well, like Dante was saying, like, oh no, I bought that one 3 weeks ago, and it's like, but I paid a lot more to get this because you said you wanted it, or it's like, oh, I don't want to pay that much for it. And it's like, but that's what it costs. Or there's a million different variants. I'm like, you might get stuck with it. So it doesn't always behoove you to go out there and shop specifically for a customer. Case in point, today I had a good buddy of mine who, I genuinely try to keep these things in my head. Like, oh, he does want one of those. In the last month, he's asked me 3 times to go out and find him a specific item. And it's like, bud, this shit's not easy to find, man. Like, this is not like hi, can I order one of these? You're my distributor. Can you make this for me? Like, dude, I have to like crawl and sift through the entire earth of militaria to find these things. I can't just, believe me, if I can make SS generals uniforms appear daily, I would, but that's not realistic,
Dude,
Yeah,
you know what? And this is actually just to touch on something I'm sure we've talked about before, but anybody that's getting started with dealing, that is the number one assumption, is that there's just like a stockpile or like a marketplace somewhere where dealers can source a lot of this stuff. Because it was a hard thing for me, and I know it's been a hard thing for other people. I see the Facebook posts where people are like, I can't find jack shit. And that's literally the hardest part, is sourcing it.
Yeah, sourcing material and protecting your sources. Of course, Billy, we all know this. Once you find a source that's reliable for anything, even it's like, all right, this guy calls me once every 6 months and he's got something for sale. I mean, that's your boy, right? You got to protect him. And then you start stacking those sources up, and then you start to have a good business model. Go ahead, Billy.
So expanding on what you just said, I also have customers of like, oh, hey, when you get really rare SS insignia, go ahead and just give me a call. Never mind your other customers that are lined up with their money out of the pockets.
We had a guy come up to the table that did that.
Correct. And it's like, hey, man, like, I appreciate what you're trying to do. You're not the first person to be like, you get rare SS insignia? Can I get in on that? Like, there's a million people out there who want this material. You're one of them. And that's cool. You have deep pockets. There's a lot of people who have very, very deep pockets. And unfortunately, you're not at the top line. But it's not fair to them to give it to you, and it's not fair to you to only give it to them. I listed on the website. It is first come, first serve. And from a sales perspective, it creates a feeding frenzy. Again, here's your chance. You want a chance to buy it? Here it is.
Your chance, dude.
But don't you think it's funny, Billy, that you'll get something, and for you, it's just like another nice item, right? It's a nice item. You put it on the website, it sells. And then inevitably someone through social media or an email or a phone call, whatever, will go, oh, dude, why didn't you tell me you had that? And you're like, bro, what do you fucking think this is? Like, I got some kind of a notebook and like a call list for shit. Like
a Rolodex.
Yeah.
John and Philly wants one of these.
I don't have the time to do that. All of us are really one-man bands. Like you get it in, you authenticate it, you price it, and you put it on the site, and then it's gone. And that's it. And if you don't want to check the site every day, then it's, that's it. I mean, that's all I can tell you. Tough shit, man.
So, Bill, you provided me with a pretty good segue here. You brought up a general's uniform, and I have some pictures from you if you want to go through them with me here.
Wow, dude, I have a phenomenal show. So, as you know, this is the Galen David. I believe, is this General Lieutenant? I believe it is. This is the one from the Max that escaped me, and I spent the entire Max once I realized the one. Now, listen, the EK2 Spange and loops for DK on an untouched, unmolested general's uniform is not an easy thing to find. I have spent over a decade looking for this one. And again, my bucket list is not huge. I have a few things that I want, and I know what they need to be in order for them to be in my personal collection. I'm also, with that being said, I'm also looking for a white NSDAP jacket with at least one set of badge slips, a 4-pocket jacket. But neither here nor there. This was at the show, at the Max show, and it sold. It sold for a substantial amount of money. The guy was a Knight's Cross verdict rights holder. He was a prisoner of war in England after the war. So it's named, it's researched, and all that. Neither here nor there. It was the one, in my opinion. So sure enough, I spent a couple days at the Max show trying to track down who bought this, and I was asking random people, and I went up to a couple of wrong people, like, hey, I know you bought that. And they're like, I have no fucking clue who you are. Please get away from me. However, I did track it down, and the guy is a complete gentleman, Mike Davis of virtualgrenadier.com. He also helped me identify who the guy was who bought this, put me in touch with him, awesome networking. And I was able to talk him out of it. Like, hey, man, I would really appreciate and sincerely be grateful, consider a personal favor if you did sell this to me from our personal collection. And he made a little money on it. It was fair for everybody. But he personally delivered this jacket to me at the SOS. And, man, I was ecstatic when I finally, again, man, that bucket list is getting smaller every day. And to finally cross that off the list is really important to me.
It's a really
awesome.
nice piece, man.
Thank you.
So what are we looking at here? I see you sent me a few pictures of this. I assume there's a story that goes along with the bracelet.
Go forward a little bit with the bracelet. Okay, so now this is hilarious, okay? Now, I own an SS Gorget. The second pattern, the flag bearers and Antarctica. And this showed up on Facebook, and I'm not even in the group that this showed up in because it's run by a fucking bunch of retards. But anyway, somebody came across.
Not holding anything back there.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, listen, the stuff I pulled off Facebook, I have gotten incredible stuff because, I mean, I hate to toot my own horn. Actually, I kind of like to do it. But my point is not a lot of people on Facebook really do have an eye of what they're doing. So this shows up on Facebook, and somebody sends this to me privately and says, hey, is this real? I'm like, oh my God, dude, buy that immediately. Buy it. Can you fast forward to the post on Facebook to show what other idiots we're talking about? So he posts this on Facebook, and there's the group at the top there. And if you keep going, you can see some comments of like people making fun of the guy, laughing at him, telling him he's an idiot and a fake. And I couldn't get the money on my wallet fast enough. Long story short, it wasn't anything. This is my chained SS M36 on the left. That's the Gorget chain on the right. Again, I own both of these things in my personal collection, so I'm fairly familiar with what a real one looks like. So if, again, I had this delivered to the show, and I told the guy bought it outside of St. Louis for $30. And you got the septum right there in the nose, just incredible. And long story short, I told him, Jeremy, my other table helper, was the one who wanted it. And I was like, well, don't make any money on it. I was like, I tell you what. So I go to the seller and I said, I will buy that off you cash right now, under the understanding I will give it to Jeremy and he's never allowed to sell it, just to have that kind of small victory. And so that's what happened. So that was another really cool thing that happened at the show. And, again, for this to show up on Facebook and people to laugh at it, really shows you the knowledge base that's in that group there.
Dude, I think that the Facebook rule tends to be kind of the same as the OkCupid rule, which is that like the odds are good, but the goods are odd. So like you're going to get a lot of responses, but the actual amount of information might be pretty limited. But that's really cool, dude. So this is a bracelet, right? This isn't a full length chain.
It's 5 links that the vet made into a bracelet. Again, it showed up at a thrift store in St. Louis, $30, 38, something like that at the tax. If you keep going forward, I have the Gorget and M36 in my collection. So again, I have the. I mean, if that's not one of the most sexy black and silver photos, I don't know what is. I love the way that eagle on the Gorget, glows. It's funny because I'll have people like, "Oh, I'll buy the chain from you, and I'll give you $9,000 for the chain." It's like, dude, you couldn't pay me.
Yeah.
$9,000 for the chain. Like, are you nuts? No way.
Man, that's very striking, Bill.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. And I actually, if you go forward another photo, I actually got to keep a piece at the SOS again to go kind of entail with this.
Before we move on, just as a quick question, because you know me, I trade in Soviet junk and stuff like that, so I'm not super well versed on the values. So what would you put? Just gun to your head. What's a value for what we're looking at right now?
So I don't know specifically. The etch on my M36, that M36 came off Facebook. The etch on that M36 is 1 or 2 or 3 known of that specific maker. I was told it might be worth $50,000. It's not for sale. It doesn't matter what it's worth. But that etch pattern is that rare. The Gorget, I personally paid $35,000. And
oh my God, brother!
It's not for sale. Yeah, it's not for sale.
You're cooking in here. It's a really nice set. So we found this at the show.
Yeah, the pennant. When I walked past that, the way the bullion, the 3-dimensional aspect of the bullion on the runes of the pennant just screamed. And so I have big flags. I have incredible flags in my collection. I don't have too many because how can you display, 9 giant flags? But I don't really have an SS, and I didn't ever feel the need to have an SS banner or anything like that. But I saw this pennant, and it's like, dude, the black and silver, and it's small and displayable size. Like, that's incredible. The Adolf Hitler you're looking at, got that off Facebook. Again, those I don't have many cuff titles, but what I do have, I consider them quality examples. And
so this pennant, not to interrupt you, but this pennant, the deal for this, it was actually made on camera in the vlog. So if you've seen the vlog, then you've seen Billy buy this, and we got at least one commenter was like, hey, I think my favorite new negotiation tactic is to tell the camera what you want to pay the guy at the table, because he agreed to it immediately. But you brought up an interesting thing here about the ties on this pennant, which is that it's the same material as the stripes on an SS armband.
Yeah, so the horizontal stripes on an SS armband are, again, just like these. I don't know if you can zoom in. I don't know how how much the resolution is on this. But
yeah,
also,
the ribbing is the same, right? The
correct.
ribbing.
And we Dante and I just got we split a nice grouping that came in, a vet bring back grouping, and coincidentally on like a Reichsleiter armband, the swastika is the same pattern. So it's just kind of cool that they, again, this is the generation of the Depression. So they did a lot of things with what they could. And they utilized it in different areas. So it's, again, the ties on the pennant are made. I was told this might be Theodore Eika's car pennant. I don't know, but I was told to keep my eye open in a period photo for that. If you look at the chain stitching around the runes, again, man, that thing screamed to me across the room. So I'm glad I picked that up. I was wishy-washy on, do I need it? Do I not? And a good personal friend of mine, Mark Mitchell, was like, if you don't buy that, I'm gonna be upset with you. So,
Bill, wouldn't this normally have some type of a protective plastic over it?
yes, and if you actually look at it, it must have back in the day, because it's not weathered or anything like that.
Right.
I mean, if it was an auto pennant, could you argue, it had the frame and with the metal ends? I don't know particularly, but this is in excellent condition, and I'm just really glad I got that.
I tell you what, man, I never would have thought, again, I'm not like chiefly a German collector at this stage of my life. I never would have thought about the plastic sleeve. And when I first saw this, I was like, yeah, I don't know, hung in like a SS bowling alley or something. Like, I had no idea. But it's a very cool piece. And when you say it called out to you, I remember walking up to you, and again, it's in the video, but I walked up to you and I was just like, show me something cool. And we walked, a quarter mile across the show. Back over to the table. So it definitely, it had a hold on you. And I get it. It's a beautiful piece.
A great show, man. Buying and selling, just like Dante said.
This thing came to the table. I want to hear about it. I'm so curious.
This is the most Nazi thing I own. And again, I'm in this for the history. But it is. Well, when I explain to you what it is the most Nazi thing that I own. Because what this is, and Dante, actually, I found out you had one on your website as well. This was an Aryan-owned business, and it was telling other Germans in the Nazi Party that it was safe to buy here and it was not Jewish-owned. And when you think about what that actually represented back in, it's like, dude, that is insane. And this is a true piece of history. I paid $500. It's not for sale. I don't care what it costs. But again, some of the things that exist in this world are just mind-blowing. And to me, this door plaque is mind-blowing.
This must have been like, just speaking off the cuff here. I'm sorry, Dante, I didn't mean to cut you off, but just speaking off the cuff, this must have been the kind of thing that was not like, I would expect to see more of these in circulation if this practice and this specific design was used for a long period of time. Like, do you know anything about how long this was displayed, or if they changed badges or something? Because this is the first one I've ever seen, and I've been doing this for 15 years.
The Nuremberg laws shut down Jewish-owned businesses fairly quickly in Nazi Germany. So, I mean, that would be my answer to your question.
Oh man, that's a total brain dead moment on my part. That makes perfect sense. That's really cool. Dante, you had one of these as well?
Yeah, I had one of these as well, but I wanted to just tell the viewers, if they're not familiar with what they're looking at from a size perspective, it looks just like a party badge, right? But it's not. It's the size. It's made to look that way, obviously, but it's the size of what would you say, a coffee plate, or
I actually have a photo,
a teacup plate, something in perspective.
Yeah, I have.
It's like there you go.
There you go.
Okay, yeah,
that's huge.
So, I mean, it just displays so well. I mean, if you're trying to make a display with something, but finding one, Bill, in that condition is really hard because they were mounted on something.
Yeah, they were tightened down
rivets.
on the sides. Yeah.
When GIs and whoever were popping them off, they were breaking the enamel. So finding one in good shape like that is very hard to do. So kudos to you.
Yeah, man.
I feel like this is the kind of thing that doesn't get a lot of airtime, if you will. Like, it's not something that you see very many examples of. But if you're an enamel collector, like this is the kind of thing that
that's the thing that
man,
goes at the top, and then you put your little enamels under it. Man, it makes
exactly. You got your Riker mount set up, or maybe you throw this guy right in the middle, and you have all your little party badges of different makers and your various factories and all that around it. Yeah, that's really really cool.
Yeah.
All right, Bill, what is this, dude?
This is I promise I'll shut up soon. I'm sorry. This is a photo I took in 2011. Okay. I got the buckle on the top right out of the woodwork. And this is when I was a young man. I was still renting, and I was currently buying my first home. And I paid cash for my first house. So it was a fixer-upper. I still own it to this day, and it's gorgeous now. But my point is, it was a long journey to get it there. So this buckle that I got out of the woodwork, I knew it was stupid rare. I put it on WAF. in 2011, it was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I mean, come on, what is this? And everyone's like, wow, that's really special. And even John T, you know, God rest his soul, he was like, wow, it's really a special buckle. So long story short, I had a million PMs of like, sell that to me, sell it. I'm like, no, I want to keep it. I know how rare it is. And then push came to shove, man. And one day I needed that money, you know, something needed $1,000 for, you know.
Many such cases.
Right. And life happened. So I had to put that in the chopping block, and I never wanted to. And immediately when I shipped it, it went to California, and who knows where it went from there. Immediately when I shipped it, I regretted it. Instant, like, regret. I have spent, since 2011, what is that, almost 15 years, trying to find another. So I'm walking along at the show, and again, out of the corner of my eye, I'm looking at like HJ buckles. I think there's a DAF buckle in the thing, and I have a dozen of those. And I see this buckle, I'm like, holy fuck. I'm like, no way. And it's got $650 on it. It's not the identical one I used to own. I know of three.
Man, I was really hoping, dude.
I know of 3 in the world now. I've owned 2 of them in 25 years, in 15 years. Anyway, where I'm going with this is it had $650 on it. And even though it's a fantastic deal, and I couldn't wait to pay the person. It's like, would you take 600? Because it's all part of the game.
You have to.
You just got to. It's part of it. Like, it's all part of it, man. Like, and don't get me wrong. When people try to haggle me, it's like, no, I'm not going to do that for you. Like, I can, you know what I mean? It's just not. But I do it to other people, so it's not always fair. That one hand washes the other and goes one way, not the other direction.
And Billy, I mean, it's just a DRK variant. We don't really know what it is.
So if I had to guess of what this is, you know, Nazis take over, and there's the Red Cross traditional buckle from the Weimar era. You know, Nazis take over in January 33. And then by RZM production, they standardize the way it's supposed to look. And that's when you get your Red Cross and your Red Cross officer. So this has to be an inter-period area from, like, I would say 1933 pre-RZM to RZM, like, standardized production. If you go forward a couple more photos, Josh, this is what makes this one better than the first one I had. It's RZM marked underneath the cat, and that's a super early.
Wow.
So that was just.
Yeah. I mean, so you might be in a situation where there's like a 6-month interim where
100%.
Where this
production
happens. Yeah. Right.
So again,
it's basically a prototype at this point.
Maybe.
Well, no, it was produced in limited numbers, but it wasn't wide scale production. So again, the fact that, you know, it's not fate. I can't explain it though. There's not many things I truly regret, and there's not much on the bucket list. But yet at this show, I got, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 things that were dear to me, and it was just like meant to be. And I can't explain it. But I got this buckle back. It's not for sale. And again, the show was awesome.
Dude, you know, thanks for sharing all that stuff. Some really, you know, just stuff that you don't see every day. And I'm guilty of saying you don't see that every day. A lot of people don't see this every day. This is something you have to kind of look for to see. But I don't think most collectors will run into one of those buckles in their travels. You know, I don't think most people are going to find one of those plaques for the businesses. Like, this was a very good year for the unique.
On the line of thinking of people don't see this shit every day. But did I share that email with you guys from this lady who sends me a picture of a KVK 2?
Yeah.
Classic, dude.
And what was it? A KVK 2 and like some other like super common thing.
A cigarette album or something.
It's saying, oh yeah,
a
water damaged cigarette album, right? And she goes, and I'm like, oh, you know, I don't want the damaged cigarette album, and I really don't need the War Maricross, but I was like, I'll give you, you know, $20 for it, right? Because I'm going to sell it for what, 40, 50 at the most,
right? Yeah.
And she responds back, and she goes, no, you don't see these every day. Like, this is super rare. I wouldn't take anything less than $400 for the War Maricross.
Bro,
I laughed out loud to myself looking at an email on my phone going, what the fuck is wrong with some of these people? Like, you can't Google this shit, lady. So then I sent her a bunch of freaking links right to my own website. I said, listen, if you can buy these right now from me,
the ribbon,
and you can make a killing if you're getting $400 a pop for them. And then she said, thank you for your time. And that was it.
Literally have a pile of War Maricrosses on my desk over here that I had to tuck out of the way when we started recording. Like, it's funny because that's that thing. You know what? Yeah. Like I said, most people don't see it every day. When you're in the hobby though, You do. You see it every single day
Every
when it
Well,
comes
some
to
single
people
stuff like
think
the War Merit
anything with a
Cross.
swastika is worth $1 million.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that's unfortunately how it is everywhere. Right? Even in the antique stores, you see like the 1942
Right.
police tinny, and it's like $75 because like, hey, it's Nazi stuff, and you're like, all right, buddy, come on.
Yeah, come on, let's get serious.
So
That's funny.
you guys both brought some cool stuff to talk about, stuff related to the show, picked up at the show,
What do
sold
you
the
want to
show,
talk
some
about?
good stories, dude. I have a really fun thing that we're gonna do here. So I was obviously working Billy's table, which meant that I was kind of busy. So if you guys saw the vlog, that was what I did with my time to walk around the show. I got some stuff. I got, some little things here and there. I picked up a couple interesting things. I get this tiny little German album
That
that
thing
we
was
saw.
cool.
It's so
Fun
cute.
little thing. Do you know I've never seen one of the small ones? I was talking to Jen and she was
That's what
like,
she
"Oh
said.
yeah, I've seen a bunch of those." And I'm like, "First one
I
for
bet
me,
she did.
15
I bet
years."
she
That's yeah, it's so crazy. Some dude emailed me about these, going, "Oh, these are super rare." I'm like, "No, they're not. They're like, I don't know, $50 to $100. Like, they're not rare."
I mean,
What are you
I
talking
think
about?
they're rarer than a full-size album for sure, especially if they have like good quality pictures, but still it's like it's nothing to write home about necessarily.
It's a neat
But
thing, and it'll always be neat.
And the photos
Yeah.
in his were awesome. Honestly.
there are some cool ones. I don't know if it'll pick up, but my favorite one
It's
is,
the last
is
one.
right here in the back. Yeah, this guy.
That is a badass photo, dude.
Oh, it's nice. It does. He's got the transitional helmet on. He's wearing his training jacket. So anyway, I didn't have a whole bunch of stuff that I was like, let me show you guys, my pickups from the show. If you guys want to go to queencitymilitary.com, I'm sure a ton of it's going to end up on there tomorrow. So you can go look at it there. But what I did
You
do
should
with my
cancel.
time when I wasn't selling stuff for Billy is I took pictures of everybody that walked by in uniform. We talked in the pre-SOS show about how the SOS is also technically a fashion show. So we're going to play a little game here where we're going to go through, I think it's 10, maybe 11 pictures, and we're going to decide who was the best dressed at the SOS. We're just going to comb through it, give our responses, okay?
All right.
All right, so we had a lot of guys walking around in Imperial Japanese. This guy down in the middle here, dressed as a Russian with his fun little Budanovka on, uh, volunteered to be a prisoner of war for this photo. This might be one of the only cases, though, at the show where I saw people dressed in Imperial Japanese uniforms, but they were actually Asian. There was a lot of like, I'm from Kentucky and I'm wearing the Imperial Japanese Army uniform, which was a little strange, but hey, I'm not going to hate on reenactors. So, what do you guys think here? What's your overall opinion? How do you rate this cosplay? Because let's be honest, this show, as you guys will see, there's a lot of people. This guy's got a 2-day badge. Some of these guys aren't OVMS members. They showed up in costume for the show because that's what it is to them, and that's fine. So, what do you guys think about this cosplay, this reenactment that you're seeing in front of us here?
I love it. I think it's great. I think they look great. I mean, they're doing their thing, man. And what's not to love about this? My opinion.
I did not know the prisoner of war volunteer aspect of it. They took it to another that's depth behind what they're actually trying to portray. Again, this hobby's you can get into this hobby in so many different ways. Whether it's you go after a specific country, you're a reenactor, you are a collector, you are a reseller trying to make a buck or two. You just love history. There's something for everyone. And actually, again, now that I know that he's a prisoner of war, that is very cool.
Yeah, dude, he was very excited to be a prisoner of war, probably more so than most prisoners of war would be. So just to clarify, we are on board with the IJA and Russian POW cosplay.
Well, we haven't seen the others, but
reenactors.
as of right
Well,
now,
but right now they're doing well. We like them. We think they did a good job.
Mhm.
What about these fellas,
Oh, 10 out of 10, man. Come on.
dude?
Come on.
I don't know. These guys, these helmets.
what's not
Powerful
historically
look.
accurate is that the helmets don't have liners, and I can tell that. That's not historically accurate.
Buddy,
And
the
no
only
one-
reason these helmets fit our head was because they didn't have liners.
That is one of my favorite. That's definitely my favorite photo of the SOS. Love that picture.
But Josh
How
does have an
about
old
this-
school mustache to go with the helmet.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true. Yeah,
dude.
he fits the bill.
That's the one thing I'll miss about the mustache is every once in a while you can bust out this real like Austro-Hungarian kind of look, especially if you have the helmet on, I guess. I don't usually wear it in my everyday life, but it's a powerful move. Like I said, it's a Halloween costume. I can't wear it all the time. So you guys saw this guy walking around, but I got to include him. What do you think about the knit Pickelhaub?
I mean, it's gimmicky, it's fun, but you got to have a certain character to wear that. I wouldn't be able to pull that off. I guess if I was drunk, maybe.
Can you imagine going to your wife with like, hey, you know what I need you to do for me? Like, I got the show coming up, and like, you're good at knitting. Like, what do you say? Can you recreate this? And she did it for him.
So yeah, the story I heard with this guy was he convinced his wife to make like 10 of these, and people said that they would never sell, and he sold out of all of them.
I bet he did. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. How much were they? Like 25? Well, maybe more.
I don't know.
Yeah. I hope they're more than 25, dude. Yeah. But the problem is, and we talked about this on the way to the bar, and you guys didn't believe me. There's no ethical way, and you can tell me I'm like lived up for saying that, but there's no ethical way to mass produce a knit object. So like, it's a very controversial topic to do mass produce knit items, and the fact that these are so popular means this guy's wife's just going to be working her fingers to arthritis over there at home, dude, to churn these things out for the next show.
All right, but I gotta say, what are the chances that the spike is underneath there? Now, there's got to be something for the form of that spike. It's got to be
a butt plug. Easy.
It's a butt plug. That's what I was saying. 100%. It's a butt plug.
Oh yeah, buddy.
It's got to be a butt plug.
Are you trying to say that all the people that bought these caps are wearing butt plugs on top of their heads, unbeknownst to them?
I think,
and especially if they're bald, it just.
I think there's a cheap. I think there's a cheap Chinese butt plug underneath that spike.
I think Jeremy got one of these. I think I saw it in his car, and like they were pretty good quality. I got to be honest. I saw this guy in the airport.
One, did he?
Dude, Uncle Germany has one in his car. When we were getting in his car, oh gosh, he drove us somewhere someday, and it was in there. And I was like, "You got one of these?" And he was like, "Yeah, they didn't have too many of them. I had to get them while they were like hot." But regardless,
like you said, the guy's wife, yeah, she's gonna be making more. Like the grandma in Happy Gilmore.
Dude, I love that he told you the same story he told me, Dante, about the whole like my wife said these were fucking stupid and everybody would hate them, and I sold out of them in like the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Good for him. Man.
Good for him. Yeah. For sure.
I support this dude. I like him. He's got good spirit. I'll tell you what, it's not the most historically accurate reenactment I've seen, but
good old man, Bruce John Wentz.
Yeah, there he is down there, dude. He was table helping for Dale Edwards. Yeah, all right. Yep. What do we got next here? This gentleman always shows up in uniform, dude. Yeah. But he puts together a good uniform. I don't have anything bad to say about this one.
Look at the shoe shine on those bad boys. He's desperate.
Oh, dude, you could look up a girl's skirt on a bus with those.
That's for sure. Yes, you could.
I heard somebody bitching about the fact that he's old and he's doing that, and I was like, dude, who cares? Like, what? Let him have his fun.
100%, dude. This is.
Are you trying to say like a stolen valor sort of argument here, where it's believable that he would be an older veteran? And
I don't fucking know, man. People just.
I would never make. Yeah, I'd never make that accusation myself, but I could see someone saying that. This gentleman, he came by as well. We got a lot of Allied guys at the show in uniform. I got to tell you, like, you know, you bring the trousers, you got the little bag, you got the friggin' jacket and a nice looking rack on top of that. It's modest. He's not walking around saying I'm a general, you know, he's just out here.
That's a good point. Yeah, he's a piddly little
So
guy.
let's talk about why you see mostly Allied things at the show is because you can't wear the insignia, right? I mean, that's the bottom line.
Yeah, I mean, if you.
What do you mean? Like for the German stuff?
Yeah, you can't. There's certain show rules that say you cannot have an armband on. You can't display a swastika. Like you can't walk around in that kind of garb at the show. There's specific rules now, and you know, love it or hate it, that's just the way that the environment we're in right now. So yeah, that's why you see so many Allied guys.
You see a lot of East German guys too, and I guess I had never thought about it or never considered the show rules about wearing stuff because like it doesn't cross my mind. It's bad PR, let's be honest.
In a way, he looks like a typical reenactor because he's overweight like the rest of us. You know what I mean? He's not.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just a John Everyman like you and me, dude. He has a beard.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God!
All right, let's move on. What do we got? Oh, these gentlemen, dude. The hardest picture of 2025. Look at these guys, bro. I had to include them because they were walking around with definitely the helmets they bought on their heads, and these I see the sense in it.
No, you know what these guys are? These guys are the Guns of Provolone. That's who these guys are.
The Guns of Provolone. Wowzers, dude. You know what? But this is
Billy's gonna have a heart attack. Totally, the Guns of Provolone.
Look, the stain on the Carhartt is what does it.
The stain on the Carhartt, bro. Look at these guys. If they walked up to me in an alleyway, I'd be like, first of all, I'd be like, it's past your bedtime. But second of all, I'd be like, I'm not fucking with you. They look tough.
In their own defense, though, they're having fun doing whatever the fuck they want. I respect that too. You know what I mean?
Dude, this guy with the dogs out.
No fucks given.
with
That
the
guy
dogs,
especially-
bro.
Yeah.
I gotta
Oh,
respect
God.
it.
I don't respect anyone who wears flip flops when it's 10 degrees outside. You can go get fucked. I can't.
It seems like maybe you're just afraid. You know, this guy's got a strong constitution. He's not afraid of a little cold.
Well, and he also has diabetes, or he will. So, whatever.
Oh my God, bro.
He's not gonna need those toes much
He's
longer.
not gonna need those toes. He's just adding to his suffering. I mean, or shortening it actually, because
These toes are gonna be gone soon enough.
he's gonna lose. He's like, you know what? I got the diabetes anyway. I might as well go out and lose him frostbite.
I
faster.
can't even believe the haters, dude. Player hater of the year 2004, Dante Gambino.
Oh, 2004.
Yeah, dude,
21
player
years
haters ball. It's a
behind.
Dave Chappelle reference. What are you talking about?
I'm sorry.
I
You're
love
older than me.
I'm sorry. I missed it. Sorry.
I know Billy doesn't miss a Dave Chappelle
I
reference.
do. I
Well,
love
anyway,
this show.
I'm gonna tell you what. Again, not a historically accurate impression.
I have nothing
Uh,
against these children.
I love these dudes. They were
Is that a
having fun.
windbreaker on the right, or no? Is it cotton?
This one, you want to know?
Yeah,
I think it's just a
cotton.
hoodie.
Yeah, it's just a hoodie. I
It's
was
just a
hoping
hoodie.
the wind didn't stand a chance against that windbreaker, but it does.
I respect these dudes. I respect the hustle. They were really fun when they came over to take a picture, and yeah,
Okay,
guys
just
walking
people having
around with the
fun, man.
dogs.
Yeah,
out.
having fun is what it's
Yeah,
all about.
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
All right. How about these? So now we're getting into a little bit more of that East German goodness we were just talking about. These guys are also new members, which speaks to the same thing. Is like they just signed up at this show.
I
Like,
mean, they are kitted out. Like they've got. I don't know if it's right because I don't know anything about that shit, but they got their shit together, man.
That's cool
Dude,
in its own right. It is.
They did a good job. I'm gonna say something about East German helmets though. God, they look like shit.
Oh, they're so stupid. Yeah.
Every time I see an East German helmet, I'm like, who approved this? Like it's the ugliest helmet I've ever seen in my entire life. So yeah, they're kitted out really well. But I'm gonna honestly, for me personally, I'm deducting points because I just fucking hate that helmet so much. But they definitely did pull it together. Like it's a good impression.
Oh my god, why are they so shiny too? God damn.
It's like it. I don't even want. I can't even get into it. East
It'd
German
be hard to
helmets,
aim a
thumbs
rifle
down,
scope
bro.
with that if it's just reflecting in your eyeball.
It's like they
Fair
went through the
enough.
trouble to have these two different kinds of camo. And like, you know what? We're gonna make sure you could see our helmet from
We're
5
gonna
miles
chrome the
away.
helmet. Yeah, we're gonna chrome it.
From
I
the
do
fucking
like this
moon.
camo though. I like this
It's
camo.
based off Splinter, and it's
It's like a
own right.
splinter. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's good stuff. But yeah, again, it's one of these things when I'm looking through the pictures and I see people that are not like lifetime members or people that even have name tags and they showed up in full kit. I'm like, man, dude, like this is your show experience. You knew exactly what you were gonna do. I gotta respect it. Like I said, I wouldn't wear the uniforms, but it's cool. Another Imperial German or sorry,
Japanese.
another Imperial Japanese Army guy. Yeah, this time very clearly not a Japanese person. But you got to give him credit, dude.
I do.
He's
I
even
do.
get-
give
he's
you
Look
even
credit.
got
at
the
the
footwear.
shoes,
Yeah,
bro.
eat the shoes. Yeah.
Look at those Ninja Turtle ass feet.
Ninja
Like-
Turtle.
You're gonna walk around all day in the show with those, dude. I was wearing like comfortable boots, and I'll tell you what, being on that concrete all day, I was dying. But this dude, he was a trooper about it. I mean, no pun intended.
Oh
I
my
see what you
Lord.
did there. That was clever.
So, what do you guys think? You know, he's pretty accurate looking, I think. I mean, aside from again, he's not Japanese, but he can't do much about that.
Well, he's
Um,
probably 2 foot taller than a real Japanese soldier. And why does the hat look so cone headish?
Dude,
That's
their
what-
hats just looked like that.
Yeah, that's what it
Not
looked
yeah, but maybe it's just because his neck doesn't stop and it goes all the way up to his hat. It's like weird.
Oh my God. Well, hey, there's nothing wrong with a thick neck king. You know what I'm saying? That dude
not
does
that,
trap work.
not that I should talk, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh my gosh, dude. Well, he was a good sport about it. Let me take his picture. And I gotta say, respect the footwear. So this guy ranks pretty high on my
Yeah,
personal list.
honestly, yeah, he tried, man. Yeah.
all right. Give it to him.
This guy, bro,
Yeah, he looks pretty good.
showed up
Wow.
with the gun. Like he's the most serious so far.
Jesus Christ, this guy's crazy.
Did you not see people like this at your table?
My table? Yeah, they come around, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, actually my tables were packed because of all the people waiting to see the vets in the back. And who's the guy from was it Saving Private Ryan or whatever the other movie was, the actor. He was back there with Gettysburg. So I saw
Band of
all
Brothers
kinds-
guy.
Yeah, the Band of
Colonel
Brothers guy.
Fink or whatever his name is.
That's right. He was back there. So we had all kinds of traffic back there because of that. So these guys were all there. I just They're not buying SS daggers, dude. So they don't really spend time at my table. I'm sorry.
This is the fashion show.
I know.
I was going to ask that if they're collecting them. I mean, I don't remember ever selling to somebody like this. If they're just there to pull off the uniform.
I have never seen a guy that shows up with a reenactment impression also walking around with something he bought.
Yeah, they're going to show off for sure.
Like and that's why it sounds so silly to say cosplay. And in this man's situation, I'm sure there's no chance in hell that he'd be like, yeah, I'm a cosplayer.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, these guys, so the internet has created this subculture of cosplay people, right? And all they do is they go back and forth and say, hey, rate my impression. What am I missing? So they go back and forth for years trying to get it right. So this is like one of the few opportunities where they can go out and show it to the world and no one's really judging them, right? In a negative way, besides me. No, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
you are a player hater.
They're having a great time. It's one of the few times that they get to do it. So yeah, good for them, man.
All right, I got two more for you. This guy, real mix and
match.
That's a
guy? Oh, yeah, I said that.
That's not a guy, is it?
It looks like a chick.
Yes. No. God, what the fuck?
Dante season 2, right?
The feminine facial features for me, for sure.
Okay. This guy right here, real mix and match, got a lot of stuff going on. And I'm pretty sure this is another situation of came to the show, bought stuff at the show, wore the stuff that they bought.
Maybe,
but got to take the picture because, still doing it. Although the boots, like, I don't know if the boots have any like military bases at all. I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm not a big like military boots guy, but yeah, the US jacket with the German helmet, and also like, I mean, keep it real with you, like the camo was probably bullshit, right? We agree?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, so like, this is like the guy that buys from the table next to your table, Billy, who's just like, it's full of helmets that have just been painted art projects.
Oh my Lord. People buy that shit. It's crazy to watch. I would kill, like, just let me talk to you for 5 minutes. Like, what are you doing?
Well, hey, in this situation, it worked out, kept his head safe. I will say, good sport, but not ranking high on my personal list. But anytime I saw somebody in kit, I had to take a picture. We obviously can't, if it's a full impression, you got to take it a little more seriously. But in this situation, they were still wearing stuff that they bought at the show. So he gets on the episode.
Maybe and then out where we thought he was a lady. I see the hands are very manly. They're masculine hands.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm gonna have to edit a bunch of this stuff, bro.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Sorry, bro.
Okay, so
oh boy.
all right. So for my last photo here, I got these two gentlemen, and I gotta tell you, this guy in the Soviet uniform is probably one of my favorites of the show. But like,
Soviet guy ever,
dude. The facial expressions, the kits, like the whole thing, they're out, they're loving it, they're broadcasting it. They're two different complete time periods, it looks like. I could be wrong. And yeah, I don't know. Pretty close to the top.
Vietnam on the right, don't you?
It looks like it to me, but then at the same time, it was like, what am I? Do you think I'm an Allied kid expert?
Korea, isn't it? That's Korea.
I don't know.
That's Korean War. Gotta be.
Chad, is this Korean War? But anyway, like
tell us.
Yeah, no, seriously, leave it in the comments. Tell us we're dumb. But this guy came out and had the breeches on, bro. Not a single person, the Soviet guy here, he wore the breeches. Not a single person showed up in breeches except for him. So I got to give him the only guy to wear breeches at the show award. And I'll say right now, he's my favorite impression out of everybody. But I'm obviously like, hey, who am I? I'm just some fucking guy on the podcast. And then how can you not love this face? Look at this gentleman.
Oh,
he's
man.
Finely trimmed beard, looking good, out here fighting for freedom in Korea. So, what do you guys think? Or World War II or Vietnam? We have no idea. So, what do you guys think about this one? How do you think? How does this stack up against the other ones you've seen?
Give it to them. We're having fun, man.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know what to say. He looks like he ate the DMZ.
Stop! You're not supposed to say.
Oh my God! All you do is hate, bro.
I'm so
this is sorry. Just a roast episode.
He's a nice kid. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh!
So
sure out of the pictures that I showed you guys, I mean, who takes it home? Who's best dressed?
Oh goodness gracious!
Dante, go ahead. You get your vote.
Let's go with oh son of a bitch. I like the Japanese guys.
They came with there's 3 Japanese guys who came with the POW. Who could beat that?
I know that's hard to freaking beat, man. That's really hard to beat. And I do admire the East German guys with all the kit. I mean, you know, they look good too.
All right.
Honestly, all of them are pretty good.
And
honestly.
they're, you know, the
they're all
freaking
right.
the Army American paratrooper guy looks good, airborne, whatever the fuck.
All right. Well, so what do you think? I mean, we see there's a lot of heat around these Japanese reenactors here. You guys think they're the best dressed at the show?
No, I actually want to change my vote to the guy in flip flops. How many of us could go into combat with flip flops on like that guy? You know, think about what he's doing. I mean, that's incredible.
They're going to be looking for Army guys. Like he's in the deep camo right now. Like you don't even know what he's doing.
He's
acting
wearing
in the shadows.
He's also wearing sunglasses indoors, bro. Like what do you do?
This man's a fashion icon. He's got the sunglasses indoors. He's got the U.S. helmet, the Carhartt hoodie with the stain. That's custom. They don't come that way. The gym shorts, bro. So
and
he can be agile.
Don't forget
he's got the ponytail. Jeremy looks over and he goes, "Hey man, if you take off the helmet, does the ponytail come with it?" And the dude was like, "Oh no!" And then he just revealed his beautiful golden locks to us. So we're like, "Oh shit, this is a flex." So
Jeremy's job is to bring people to the table, and that's what he's saying to him.
Bill, if you're willing to say that your choice for best dress at the SOS is the dude in the flops, I'm gonna agree with you.
Okay, what was the reference of they're gonna be looking for Army guys? What is that from? Is that from Family Guy?
Yeah, it's where he's walking into Vietnam as a clown. You guys are stupid. They're gonna be looking for Army guys. Never did I think that the Militaria podcast would be like, all right, here's a Peter Griffin impression.
That's what makes this great.
Dude, congratulations. Big shout out to the Flip Flop Kid. You're definitely the best dressed at the SOS. We voted on it. It's done. That's how democracy works. We celebrate that. And guys, it's been fun talking to you tonight. We're going to close the show out there. Awesome show. Great hanging out with you. Love drinking all the beers. Wished we drank more water. Bill, sorry that you got sick from the girl at the post office or the girl at the laptop repair place.
Yeah, she got me. She did.
It's been a heck of a month.
Oh, yeah, it sure has.
It sure has, brother. So anyway, rounding off the show there, I'm Joshua Doda. I run QueenCityMilitary.com, and I've been joined by both of my friends today, Dante Gambino of SMG War Relics.
Oh, God, what a great time and a great show. And I'll see you fuckers later.
And Billy Kramer of WehrmachtMilitaria.com.
Sorry, I hope I didn't transfer any diseases over this podcast. I apologize for sounding like shit. Thank you, guys. Have a good night. God bless all that.
Awesome. I'll see you guys later.
Later.